It is time to come back home. It is time to follow God. It cannot follow us. A generation. When God said, follow me at the days of your youth, he said, no, Baba, you wait. Okay? This is our time. It's not that time when there was no car. There were only trees and animals. But now you see, our time, when you did not create me the way I wanted, I have to put pointed nose. Baba, you know now, that backy had, that yash was not good enough. I have to hard to eat. The breast in itself was too small. I don't like the shape. I need to fix more. A generation that tells God that what he has done wasn't good enough. Baba, we need to help you to repair it. A generation after making errors, we'll be running for blind dates. A generation that claps for evil. A generation who knows what is white and call it black. And they expect you to say, yes, it is true. Even when you know that something is wrong. And when you did not accept with them, you are a traitor. You are a betrayer. Don't you know he is your papa, mama, daddy, mommy? Forget it. We kill. And tomorrow we can still stand on the altar. And we start kabashing. After fornicating, after womanizing, we have concubines. No. That man that is trying to tell us that is good, we must look for how to hit him. We must look for how him or her to join us. A generation that look for clients look for members, how to involve them to be like them. On our way. When we do this good, only when we do the will of God, not the will of man. One day we leave this earth. If a man doesn't know the medicine to death, that man should know and think that is nothing. It's like a dust. I have a word for who is willing to listen. But one thing as children of God, one thing as men and women, we should put in the back of our minds that God will not follow us. We need to follow God. We are the one that need to follow God. It is not God that's supposed to follow us. But today, many of us want God to follow us. Today, the generation of today is a generation that pray so much, that fast so much. It's a generation that can pray 24 hours. It's a generation that pray a lot. It's a generation that walk for God, but we refuse to walk with God. It's a generation that has refused to walk with God. Many of us shout, God, I pray 24 hours. God, I fast 24 hours. But it looks as if you are not hearing my prayer anymore. It looks as if you don't exist anymore. It looks as if you have hidden your face from me. Yes! We should ask ourselves. The Bible has told us already. It said our iniquities. Yes. Our visions are blocked because of our iniquities. The Bible says in the book of Isaiah 29, when you read to, it said, because of our sin has separated us from God. But many times we pray, many times we fast, many times we say we are working for God, but we refuse to ask ourselves if we are walking with God. Many of us want God to follow us. Many of us do not even know the purpose why we are created, and we don't even care to ask. Many of us even know the purpose, but we don't even care to ask Him, follow Him, how to go about it. Many of us are aware of the purpose God has, why God created us, but many of us refuse to follow Him. We want God to follow us. That is why anything that comes our way, don't argue. Don't say anything. God will judge. Even when we know the truth. Even when we know that those things are wrong. No. Don't worry about it. God is in charge. God will take care of it. But God has given us the sense of reasoning. That is why most of our visions are blocked. Because those things that we know that it is wrong, we refuse to talk about it. We are a generation, we work for God. But the problem is that we refuse to acknowledge that we refuse to walk with Him. God will not walk with us. We need to walk with Him because He owns the heavens and the earth. He's the only one that can kill and make alive. He's the only one that knows tomorrow and knows the end. Then how can that man, that great king, that owner of the heavens and the earth in his palm, walk with us when we are supposed to walk with Him? God, where are you? Is God no longer answering prayers? If we are ready to carry our cross daily and follow His footsteps and walk with Him, the power has been given to this generation. The symbols of power has been given to us. But the power become useless because we want to do it our own. We have refused to walk with Him. Many of us don't even ask God anymore what to do. No, I believe that I have the wisdom. I went to school. I'm a graduate. We walk and we do, and we want Him to follow us. A generation who many times we describe God as a old father. A generation who look at God and say, you are the ancient of days, you are too old now. This generation is a new millennium. A generation. Many of us will say, no, Baba, I cannot be in the garden that I planted. You make me to plant, and I know the fruit. You expect me not to eat or not to know that fruit of that garden. I own it. It's a generation that today we tell God, relax. No, your time, there was no mobile phone. Now there is internet. Now there are Facebooks. There are things that happens in your time, Baba. Now you need to come and know. You need to change your orientation. Change your mind, because this generation now, we need to do it the way. We need to even come. Most of us with our characters, with our doings, with the things we do, the way we want God to follow us. Most of us will even tell God, don't worry, that heaven, it seems we have to come and modernize it. You look at their private jet now. A generation who clap for 3-4 private jets. A generation who celebrates that big man, that big woman who has cars, houses, private jets. That is a man God is blessing. You that cannot, your shoes are fine. No. It seems God is not hearing from you. You need to tell God to follow you. The generation that will say, Papa, you don't need to. I know it. When the serpent deceived Eve, Eve was saying, I know all the trees. I know everything. I think God wants to play smart. The time God created that thing, God was not advanced enough. Now, this is the generation we are living. A generation when God said, follow me at the days of your youth. He said, no, Baba, you wait. This is our time. It's not that time when there was no car. There were only trees and animals. But now you see, our time, we can put a tattoo on our body. Now we can, when you did not create me the way I wanted, I have to put pointed nose. Baba, now, that backy hat, that yash was not good enough. I have to hard to eat. The breast in itself was too small. I don't like the shape. I need to fix more. A generation that tells God that what he has done wasn't good enough. Baba, we need to help you to repair it. A generation after making errors, will be running for blind dates. A generation that God will send a man to your way, send a woman to your way. You say, no, Baba, this one is too hot. I don't like this man. This man is not douche enough. This woman doesn't have the main thing that I want. I need a one with a big box. Baba, how can you say I should marry this one? A generation who will tell God waits. You cannot tell me. I'm too douche now. Look at, I have added some quality to myself. I went to gym. Your time there was no gym. How can you tell me to come and marry this woman? No, Baba. I'm a big guy. I'm a big girl. I need that douche man. And when most of us has missed our step because we want God to follow us then. And now, it is time now we start looking for blind dates. And even when we see the blind date, no, it's not douche enough. We are forgetting that marriage is not a game. We are forgetting to live with a woman, to live with a man is not a child's play. It takes a matured mind. It takes the strong hearts, a good heart to create a family and bring them back to life. To God, we are a generation who lives and manage in hypocrisy. Our heart, our conscience is no longer worrying us when we do evil. We are a generation of vipers. We don't want to carry the cross, but we want God to carry it along with us. Because, our time now, the modern age has changed. A generation that claps for evil. A generation who knows what is white and call it black. And they expect you to say, yes, it is true. Even when you know that something is wrong. And when you did not accept with them, you are a traitor. You are a betrayer. Don't you know that is your father? Don't you know that she is your mother? Don't you know that he is your papa, mama, daddy, mommy? Forgetting that every man will stand and answer his own query. That man cannot help you. That man cannot save you. He needs to think of how to save himself. Because God has a video of every man and woman to play for him that day, that no man can argue with God. He still remains the same yesterday, today, and forever. Is God that always still answers prayers. Only when you follow him. He's a merciful Father. God is too big to follow a man. He's a man that follows God. Because he's the owner of our lives. A generation who has turned the society and paint it. A generation that will not even accept that there is sin in them. A generation that never accept there is sin in us. We have become that generation and say, God, you understand. You know this time has changed. It wasn't like before. You need to modernize with us. Look at the Americans, the Europeans, the people getting richer and richer. They are going to sky. They are going to moon. They are discovering planets. They are telling us what is going on. You know, Baba, your own time now. A generation who want God to accept their faults and take it like this. This is a generation that we have. A generation, that is why the Bible calls it a generation of viper. We kill, and tomorrow we can still stand on the altar. And we start kabashing. After fornicating, after womanizing, we have concubines. No. That man that is trying to tell us that is good, we must look for how to hit him. We must look for how him or her to join us. A generation that look for clients, look for members, how to involve them to be like them. When you are in a place where you are clean, no, you don't need to talk. Just keep quiet. Immediately you're going to get opposed of their hints. They are going to look for any diabolic means to make you feel uncomfortable or to join the crew. Many today follow me, they follow. Just like they like. Share, they share. They follow the crowds. They don't even know the purpose why God created them. No, let me enjoy myself. Later, I will go to God. Even when a lot of damages has been done. And when we run to God, it's a generation that said, God, forget about the past. No, your word said, do not think about those wrong things. You killed a man yesterday. We killed women yesterday. We destroy lives with our lives, with our tongues. We stole from people. A generation that celebrate their children, that their children are 419. Say my boy is buying a car. If you look at his car, a generation who celebrate my son built a house. Is a Yahoo. A generation that celebrate 419. that celebrate big house, big bottom that is hardened. A generation that say, hey, my God has given us our eyes to fix good things. But when our life become messed up tomorrow, a generation that will come to God and we want God to fix it instantly. I was talking with a guy recently, yesterday. I was telling him, he said, yes, God called me. God, I know there's a spirit of God in me. But brother, I need to enjoy my life first. And later I will come to God. This is a generation that most of us will have. I was talking with him. Do you know that you can enjoy today? All the havoc you are causing now will come to you tomorrow. You want God to fix it. He looked at me and he could not answer and he left. A generation of viper. That is what we become. We don't want to accept the truth. We want to put others when we are doing evil. We want them to involve in us so that it will not be only us. How can it be that you only want to make heaven? You do as if you are too righteous. You do as if you know God too much. Why will you be against at least 10 people? You only one is fighting them. Why? Why can't you understand? Are you going to tell me that you are more wiser than my papa? You are more wiser than our mama. Our daddy. No, the only daddy that we know, that I know in the Bible, is God himself. No other daddy. I respect a man. I don't bow for a man. A generation that bows now for a man, as if the man, that woman is the one taking them to heaven. A generation that will say, what will this one say? Just let us be. You people run too much. He's not even anointed. Who anointed him? Is he a pastor? You don't need to be a pastor. You don't need to be anointed by men before God opened his mind to explain certain things for you. A generation of confusion. That is what we have. But we don't want to accept it. A generation that is confused. And we don't want to run to God. The only way we can know if we are confused, the only want to know if we have gone so far, is to run to him. Follow him. He cannot follow us. We must walk with him. We cannot walk for him. We must follow the way he wants it. A generation today that has changed a lot of things in the house of God. And when people comes in and meet it, you need to accept it. Just let it be. Many things has been taken away and other things has been added. This is the way we want it. This is the way you met it. Follow it. A generation that don't even want to hear the truth, even when they know that you are speaking of the truth. A generation that called God a whole father. I don't even think he exists anymore. We need to help him to upgrade him. It's a generation. The psalmist says, come walk with me. I cannot walk alone. If God do not walk with a man will walk with himself, and other men will follow that man, that woman will do. The songwriter says, when we walk with the Lord in the light of his word, what a glory shines on our way. When we do his good, only when we do the will of God, not the will of man. That is when it will walk with us. A generation that don't want that song anymore when we walk with the Lord. A generation that sings the other version of it. God, come and walk with me. This is what we have become. A generation where we sing in the altar. Our hearts not even shake us that we are singing to the Almighty. As we are singing, our mind is somewhere else. Because God is not in us. A generation that the spirit, the conscience is dead already. A generation that need revival, but I don't want to be revived. A generation that wants everyone to clap. Even if I die tomorrow, I go to hell, no problem. Michael Jackson is there. Those great singers, they are there. They are going to play me songs. Even when we cut our spoon fingers, we feel like dying. I wonder if that place you go with the mind of speaking, we might speak, we might talk, men might clap for us. But there's one thing I know. Men are doing a lot of things. Men are creating babies. Men are going to the planets, the sky. They are doing mobile phones. Very soon they are going to do a phone that is going to be flying. We are clapping. There's one thing I know, that no man knows is tomorrow when he's going to die. Many who has boasted, many who has felt they were too strong, they were millionaires, billionaires, their name were hard. Hey, I was the Maradona. I was the greatest 419. I am. A time will come, you will become I was. A time will come, every one of that man, that woman, one day will leave this earth. If a man doesn't know the medicine to death, that man should know and think that is nothing. It's like a dust. So therefore, for those who loves their soul, for most of us who still believe that God lives, God cannot walk with us. God wants us to follow him. He's the one that knows the way, and is the truth, and is the life. Without him, we will miss our way. Many of us are missing our way. We are blind. We can't see. Because we want him to follow us, we are not following him. His words are there for us, but we refuse to follow his words. It is time to come back home. It is time to follow God. It cannot follow us. As we prepare our mind, go back to our drawing board. Run to him and say, Baba, from now, I want to follow you. He will open his mind, open his hands, and open the heavens to guide you and I. The only way to know the truth and live by it is to follow God. Come, walk with me. I cannot walk alone, Daddy. Come walk with me. This is what we are supposed to be saying. I cannot walk alone, Baba, for the road is rough. And there are many dangers on it. Baba, come walk with us. This is what we need to plead. is still there waiting for you and I. His hand is still open wide to receive us. As we go back to our drawing boards, those things this generation is following, we should know that God never changes, still remains the same. He's still the Ancient of Days. He's the one that knows and knows the ends. The only way to find truth is to walk with God. That is when you will know if a man is going wrong or a woman is going wrong. If you are on the right track, don't worry. People will accuse you. Search yourself. If you are walking with God, be happy. If you have not been walking with God, go back. No one knows tomorrow. Tomorrow might be too late. It is a time that God wants to open the doors of blessings for you and I. Let us follow him. Because he's the way, the truth, and the life. And I know as you and I follow God, God will walk with us. You are blessed. You are favored. The sky, I know and I believe, by the grace of God, is your limit. And is my limit. This is open heaven area, a place where God speaks. We listen and we speak the truth. Ask God, and God will open his mind to you.